What are 5 things you need to know when picking out a merchant service company? All right, so let's get into this. These are some of the most important decisions you can make as a business owner. And I'm saying that because I've seen a payment processing company almost put their clients out of business. So we're gonna get into the 5 most important things. And I think they're customer service, next day funding, cost, technology, and what other programs do they offer. My name is Jonathan Fodera. I'm the owner of Integrated Business Financing, and I have been in business services and business financing for the past 14 years. So let's get into the first thing, customer service. When you're picking out a payment processing company, it is vital to make sure that they have great customer service. You should always have 1 or 2 points of contact at all times, because if something goes wrong with your machine, if something goes wrong with your terminal, your point of sale system, or if there's a discrepancy or you have a chargeback, you need to be able to reach them and resolve that. The last thing a business owner needs is to have his funds held and no way to reach out. So commonly, if you use Square, Stripe, PayPal, it's not uncommon that it's hard to reach somebody in customer service. So what does that do? If you can't reach somebody, your money's being held, well, that's a big problem. And if you can't get it released in a timely fashion, you might have negatives in the bank account, bouncing payments to your vendors. It is something that you just can't let happen. So you have to make sure that if you're working with a company, they have amazing customer service. I'll tell you a story. I had a client who is a coach or consultant. His name is Nathan, right? And he was using Stripe. And one of his clients didn't like his program. And it's one of those stories where he went out to other clients that were in his coaching class and coaching program and kind of soured, maybe call it 5 to 10 of them. And what wound up happening was he got all of them to charge everything back, and that set off fraud alerts with his processor, which was Stripe at the time. He couldn't really get anybody on the phone, and what wound up happening was his money got held, and it wasn't just the money that was being charged back, it was actually all of his funds. So it took a while to unfreeze that. He had to come to us to get a new payment processing account set up while he was resolving it with his old processor, and those funds were actually held for 6 months, right? We just came out of a pandemic, and a lot of places were holding funds or putting on a reserve. A reserve is basically when they hold back a percentage of the sales. It could be 10, 20, 30%, especially in high-risk industries, and that is crippling to a business, right? If your profit margin is only 20% and they're holding back 30%, you're actually losing money. So that is a big thing to know, is like, who is your point of contact, what type of customer service do they have, and how quickly they get back to you. So with us, we always set people up with somebody on the inside, and then you have somebody in our company. So we know that we can address any challenges that come up, especially due to chargebacks or any questions that you have. Next is technology. Why is technology so important? Well, technology is so important because depending on what type of business you have, it can make your job so much easier, right? Depending on what point of sale. Can you offer a Clover terminal? Or like a lot of our restaurant clients, they love our QR code ordering system. Why? Because if you own a food truck and you have a QR code ordering system, somebody can literally come in, scan that QR code, order right from there, and it goes to a ticket window basically, and that order pops up. They are already paid. You know how much inventory is because it's tracking your inventory. So if you run out of inventory, that is no longer offered on the menu at that point, and actually speeds everything up so you don't need the same amount of manpower. So one of our clients, she has a food truck and she makes high-end egg rolls. She switched over to this system and she is serving people a lot faster, a lot more efficiently, and she's saving money because the actual cost of her processing is a lot cheaper, right? So that makes a very, very big difference when you look at it. So, and that's not the only technology that we offer, but there's a lot of technology around that is built for certain businesses in certain industries, especially food service, that if you have that and you can implement that, it's gonna make your job easier. It's gonna give you more information and more data, and you can make better decisions and run your business at a much higher level than if you didn't have the technology. Sometimes it's just cutting out manpower, right? If you can do the same job faster with less people, you're gonna have less costs. So in her example, she came to me and she said, I used to be able to sell out, but it would take me, 4 hours and I would have 3 people in the food truck. Since we implemented this system with the QR code ordering, it basically has cut it down to she only needs 2 people in the truck, and there's a lot less confusion because everything's done through somebody's phone phone. And that's really helped her business grow and scale. So technology is a big thing that you need to look into when you're looking at payment processing companies. Next is, what is their cost? Like, how much are they going to charge you? Well, there's really two ways to accept credit card payments now. One is the traditional way. That way is usually interchange plus a few basis points, right? Typically what we see is people paying anywhere from $2.75 as an effective rate. So for every $100 they run through, they're being charged $2.75. And that's easy, we can lower that, that's not a problem. The other way to do it is cash discount or cash rewards. And basically what cash rewards does is it passes that fee to the client, and most of our clients are opting into this. This is a value add. When someone comes into financing, we take a look and we give them an analysis of this. And by passing that fee, you're passing a fee of 3.99%. Really, your processing fees are limited to about $50 a month, and it doesn't matter if you decide that you want to process $100,000, $200,000, or $20,000. I had a client that was doing about $150,000 a month, and it was each and every single month, and he was an online business. We took a look at everything, we got him his line of credit, and when we saw how much he was paying, I believe it was Square or Stripe, and we showed him the side-by-side analysis, because that's always what we do. We want to be very transparent in that. You want to see what you're paying and what the proposal looks like, and that's easy to do. That takes about 24 hours to get. When we looked at everything that he was doing, we realized that if he switched to cash rewards, that he would save roughly about $75,000 a year. That's how much he was being charged, and by passing that fee, he was able to save all that money and add that to his profit at the end of the year. So when we switched Jason over, he said, I wish I did this 3 years ago. If he did it 3 years ago, he either could have opened a new business, bought another house, or basically been way more profitable than he was when he came to us. It's amazing if you can make little incremental improvements in your business, how quickly they add up and how much better your business can operate. Next is next day funding. A business shouldn't have to wait 2, 3, even 4 days sometimes to get the money from the prior day. So every single provider that we have a partnership with, they offer next day funding. What next day funding is as long as you have it set for auto batch at a certain time, I think it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, the money is going to be in your business bank account the next day. And why does that matter? Well, you're getting paid sooner, and that's going to increase your cash flow. We do all the payment processing for a couple franchises, and those franchises all want next day funding, right? Everybody should want next day funding. And one of the things that, when we saw it, they weren't receiving next day funding. So when I spoke to the CFO and I wanted to see how he liked the implementation after we did everything, and his name's Aaron, he said, this is amazing. All the payments are coming in much quicker, and it's much easier to grow and scale and account for everything. And another factor that comes into play is reporting. You want real-time reporting, so at any point they can log in and see what the payments are, see what's clearing, see if anybody's card bounced. That's very important in operating a business. So he was very, very happy that we set him up and changed everything over, because his business and his franchisees are running much more efficiently. Last but not least is going to be, what other services does that company offer? Some offer accounting services, or they have relations for that. What we do, we offer financing. That is our main program. That's why when someone comes in for payment processing, it's easy, because we give them wholesale rates, even if they're not at wholesale volumes, because it's not our main business. We just want to help our clients. So you want to know what other services they can provide besides payment processing. So is it just merchant cash advances, or can they offer you an SBA loan, a line of credit, equipment financing, basically be a one-stop shop for all your business's needs? So that's very, very important, because if someone comes in and their credit is bad, we're going to get them to our credit repair specialist. If they need business credit, we're going to get them to our business credit specialist. It's very important to have one trusted advisor that you can go to for anything that your business needs. So let's just recap the top 5 things anybody should be looking for when they're choosing a merchant payment processing company. 1, it should be their customer service. 2, it should be all about technology. What technology can they offer you that you don't already have? 3, do they have next day funding? 4, what cost breakdowns are there? What does their cost look like? Do they offer you cash discount or cash rewards, or is it just traditional? Next, what's their reporting look like? Do they have good, clean, accurate reporting? And what other services can they help you with? Putting all that in a package, you want to make sure that those 5 things are the things that you're looking at when you choose choose your payment processing company, right? And what are some things that you can do today? Well, one, find out what your effective rate is. See if you like your technology. Do you like your POS? Is it working well? Do you want to add QR code ordering? Do you want to see what it would look like if your business had cash rewards? How much money would you save if you did have cash discount? If that's what you're wondering right now, please reach out to us at Integrated Business Financing and we'll show you a side-by-side comparison that'll help you save a lot of money. Remember, always look to integrate your business and always look for those small little improvements you can make in the business, because if you keep making those month in, month out, by the end of the year, you're gonna have a completely different business. Take care.